Hey, Kai here. We're in the BYD dealership in Canewood, and today we're going to be taking a look at the BYD Dolphin Mini. And by the way, I'm 6'3". We're looking at the sprout green color at the moment. The LED bar across the back here gives you some presence on the road, even though it's a small vehicle. As we walk around, you'll see the trim at the bottom here, giving you some accent there, coming around the side, following through the side panel and the fenders of the body. You're looking at a 16-inch rim, where full alloys, depending on the model. We have the 38 kilowatt-hour battery in stock, and I kind of want to highlight the front more than anything. They went pretty aggressive with the headlights and the running lights for these vehicles. It gives you a good amount of presence on the road for a smaller car. And just like normal on the Dolphin, you have your charging port just up to the top. On the front right side, just push to open and push to close. And you'll see like around the vehicle, you have your black accents, breaking up the main body paneling color. Depending on if you go black, white, blue, or green, you have a good amount of accent color to break it up in there. It's pretty stylish if you ask me. Taking a look on the inside of the car, the interior of the vehicle really stands out to me. You have your wireless charging pad in the middle. A very similar setup to how the Dolphin looks on the other vehicle, its predecessor. You have a pretty simple, nice black and gray interior, which I think looks pretty classy in any of the colors. What I really like about it is they give you a bigger steering wheel than the Dolphin. You have a very similar steering wheel to what you get in the BYD Seal, with some good fat grip at the top. Very nice to hold in your hand. So taking a look in the center console, you have your gear selector on the side here. You're gonna go down into drive, up into reverse. Neutral is a notch in between them. There's a little notch where you'll hold it and you'll see it shift into neutral. You have your park control on the side here, your modes of the vehicle, eco, normal, and sport. You have a snow mode as well, which is just gonna be for if you have any traction issues. Because of the instant torque on the motor, it's a little hard to adjust the accelerator if you don't have it in a snow mode. You have your automatic hold, which is gonna be for any dense traffic that you're gonna be in. So if you're looking in, evening traffic on the way home, if you're in a drive-through line, things like that, you can engage this and it will hold the brake for you until you hit the accelerator again. You have your hazard lights in the middle like normal. The AC if you want it on max cold, if you want it on and off, your front ventilation for if the windshield was to fog up, and you have your volume control for the passenger over here as well. Your volume control as a driver is up on the steering wheel, along with some other stuff that we'll get into. Everything's within arm's reach, it's all really accessible. Feeling of the toggles doesn't feel cheap, you don't have any kind of shaking when you move them around, and everything feels quite nice in your hands around the vehicle. With BYD, they have two different design languages. They have the Dynasty and the Oceanic. So obviously the Dolphin, the Seal, the Dolphin Mini, all those vehicles fall into the Oceanic category. And if you bring in the camera here, we're gonna take a look at the steering wheel. They have a nice spoke design where it's almost shaped as if it's a dolphin's tail in the middle, kind of just adding to the features of the vehicle and the design language. So it makes it kind of unique in that regard. So we've taken a look on the outside of the vehicle. We've touched on a couple things on the inside. Now we're gonna hop on the road and see how it feels. We're gonna look at the steering wheel first and take a look at the instrument cluster first as well. This model, you have your cruise control, which is not entirely useful in Barbados. You're gonna be looking at your customizable button over here. So you can basically set these presets over here. And once you press and hold it, you can set it to basically pop up your Wi-Fi settings, pause and play the media. You can also switch the audio source from there, so you don't need to go and tap on the screen to do so. And you have those options on both sides, so you can customize them either or how you'd like it. When we're going to the right side of the steering wheel, you have this microphone button, which is your physical prompt for the voice control. The voice control in the vehicle will operate all the automatic features, so your automatic window, your AC controls, things that Siri and Google Assistant can do, so calling people, changing the settings inside the vehicle, things like that. You have your call button so that you can answer calls. This will also bring you to the call phase or the call icon when you're in Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And this button over here basically allows you to cycle through your instrument cluster information, so your tire pressures and tire temperatures, your past 50 kilometers, your energy expended. You have your average speed and your driving time through there. And you can also leave it blank if you didn't want that information up. You have this button on the side that also is going to be how you hang up calls. So you could also tap it on the screen when it appears, but if you didn't want to take your hands off the steering wheel, you can accept from here and decline from this side. Your normal volume roller is over here, up and down, and left and right to skip and replay or reverse the song or the radio station. Now, I have the vehicle in normal. You have eco, normal, and sport, so we'll give you a kind of feel on all of those. Because the vehicle is all electric, you have electric motors and you're not gonna hear any kind of revving or anything like that. When you change the modes on the vehicle, all it's really doing is adjusting the output of the motor to match with the battery. So when you look at like eco mode, you're not going to be getting as much torque, you're not going to be getting as much acceleration, but it is going to be the most energy saving mode. Normal is kind of the balance of those two, where you get pretty good acceleration, but you're not using the full output of the motor. In sport, you get the full capacity of the motor, and you'll be going as fast as the vehicle possibly can. Touching on the regenerative braking, people always ask if it has regen. You have standard feedback and high feedback in this vehicle. The mode of the car is on the left side here, opposite your gear selection. The regenerative strength is on the right side. So I have it on high, and I recommend most of my customers to keep it on high. BYD's regenerative braking isn't like a one pedal system. So it doesn't slow the vehicle down to a complete stop. It just sends energy back to the battery through the motor. I recommend most people to keep it on high and basically improve the range of the vehicle by doing so. We were just talking about the bucket seats in here and the material choices. Everything feels quite soft and plush. Nothing feels too scratchy. You have nice bucket seats with some bolstering, so it kind of hugs you as you go through corners. Pretty luxurious feel for our most affordable vehicle. We're going to kind of just recap how we're feeling about the driving impressions. It shares the same suspension components as a lot of the other vehicles within this price segment. So with your like Dolphin, UAM Pro, UAM Plus, and it's fairly comfortable. You don't get too much body roll. On the road right now, I feel very comfortable in the vehicle. I think the thickness of the steering wheel really helps as well. Just makes you feel like you're in control of the car. You can also customize those things. So like in terms of how rigid or loose you want the steering wheel to be, same as with the brakes and the brake assist, if you want it to be sharper or a bit more comfortable. Yeah, you have your wireless charger up here, right below your AC vents. So you can drop your phone here, has a little outside holder so it doesn't shift around too much while you're driving. You can see that percentage is increasing there. When you don't want to use the wireless charger, right below there you have your Type C and Type A cables, so you can run your USB cables up there to charge directly as well. So what we're going to do now, it's actually an important point to note. You don't need to stop the vehicle to change the mode. What I would probably recommend is just take your foot off the accelerator so it can regulate. So we're in sport now, and I'm just going to give it a little press here. Ready? 3, 2, 1. All right, any faster than that, I'll probably get complaints from management. Next thing we can take a look at, I mean, this is not going to be super applicable during the day, but you have your automatic headlights, so the car is going to actually turn the headlights on for you, not just at dusk, but whenever it's dark outside. So if you're even in like a parking garage, for instance, and the light was low, the lights are going to automatically come on and off for you. Going into the settings of the vehicle, you can also check through there. You have your courtesy lights and your daytime running lights. You can adjust the height of the headlights as well, so if you want to position them a little bit closer to the road on like a rainier evening, if you wanted to see and kind of discern if a pothole is a pothole or if it's just some full of water. So in this vehicle, you have a 38 kilowatt hour battery, and that basically just means that you'll be getting anywhere in the range of 270 kilometers and 320 kilometers. Now I give that a range because different modes you can drive in will impact the amount of range you get. Obviously in sport mode, you'll get a good bit less than eco, but for a vehicle this size and for an island this small, 270 kilometers goes a long way, 320 kilometers goes a long way. Now, touching on the safety of the vehicle, pretty much every BYD vehicle has a 4.9 or a 5-star rating, 6 airbags to keep you nice and safe, but every vehicle that we have is essentially a 5-star safety rating. And that's in part to do with the battery being in the center of the vehicle, in the chassis of the car, what they call cell-to-body technology, where that's going to be absorbing a lot of the force through the chassis. The chassis itself is made with a higher strength steel than most, so when you're looking at crash tests, that's usually making quite a large difference. And third thing would be your airbags as well. This side you're just going to be cycling through the information, and this side you can select what information you're looking at. You can also press and hold to clear those 50 kilometer, how much energy you've expended. You can go through there, you'll see your tire pressures and your tire temperatures there as well. Go into your settings menu. We're going to look at the lock system. You have your key fob, which you can go and unlock the vehicle. You can roll the windows up and down from the key fob. You can pre-start the vehicle as well, so you can cool it down before you enter. And you can also open the trunk and let somebody lift it from outside the vehicle as well. When you go into your vehicle settings, you have the ability to customize how rigid you want the steering wheel to be, how sharp you want the brakes to be. Comfort parking is basically regulating the output of the motor so that when you're parking, you don't accidentally fly backwards when you're in sports. Comfort driving is your auto power on and off, which means that you can get in the vehicle as long as the key is on you. You can press the brake pedal, that will turn on the vehicle. And if you didn't want to press the power button, you could get out the vehicle and just lock the car, and that will turn it off. So you go into your settings menu. Let me start from the beginning. You go from home to settings, and you go into your energy settings. You have your regenerative braking strength. Now, because standard and high are your only two options, I recommend most of my customers to keep it on high. That's just going to give you a better range overall throughout the vehicle. And you could think of the regenerative braking, don't think that you're going to see the percentage of the battery increase by an insane amount. It's more so mitigating the expenditure of the battery by slowing down the vehicle and sending that energy back to the battery. The only time you might see the percentage increase, or you'll see the kilometer value increase, is if you're going downhill for an extended period of time. So maybe going into the East Coast, down into Bathsheba or Canewood, or up on the West Coast, maybe going down to Port St. Charles through those, I believe, St. Peter Hills. Gear selection, once you put the vehicle into reverse, that'll automatically engage your back camera. You have these guided lines that move as you move the vehicle. They are color coded in terms of distance, so green, yellow, and then red. This last red bar shows you that you're about a foot away from what you're about to touch. You can see that that's my bumper at the back there. So even once you pass the red line, you do have a little bit further to go as well. As you start to reverse and you start to cross into the color coded section, the parking sensors, which you can toggle on and off from over here, are going to engage and show you on this side of the screen as you reverse. You can see I'm not really a small fella, I'm 6'3". Even in the back here, you have pretty flat floors. There's no drive shaft, there's no fuel tank to have that bump in the middle. So you get pretty good leg room. You can stick your feet underneath the seating and still have space. You have good headroom in the back as well. And what we're gonna do is hop into the trunk now, show you the boot space in the back with the seats up and with the seats down. Pop the trunk here. And you can see, well, from the intro you've seen, it fits approximately one kite. But if you grab both of these here and you send the seats down, you have a good amount of space to slide luggage on top of there, extra duffel bags, anything like that. So even though it's a relatively small vehicle, it still has a good amount of space in the back. Pretty comfy. And all that's left to do is show you that you have your 2 key fobs and your BYD key card as well. And I can go ahead and turn off the car from here. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. We'll see you here soon.